Hello, how do I fill out Form 941 if no wages were paid in 2025? Q4. Well, you will go to IRS website and just type for 941. If you file it already for Q123, you should have that form saved, the template saved, that you can just make a copy and use. If you have now, you save it, or that's now that you are going to file for your business, then you can just come to IRS website, irs.gov, form 941. You press enter and you will download the instruction and the form and save it and use a copy. So we have an example of here, that's how you will file it for Q4 if you didn't pay any wages in Q4. And we are just going to scroll through it for you to take a look, and then we can just go line by line. But it just gives you quickly an overview of what you should be expecting when you are filing it and you didn't pay any wages in October, November, and December of 2025. Let's get to it. So, Form 941 2025 Employer Quarterly Federal Tax Return Q4. You'll put your business EIN number at the top. You'll put your business legal name, that's the name you use for your identification number application form. If you have a DBA, you'll put it as well under the trade name, and then you'll put your business address, city, state, and zip code. So your EIN number and your legal name, you'll put that on page 2 as well. So which quarter are you filing for? Again, one form, one quarter. If you didn't file it for the prior quarters, you are now going to check all those quarters here. One form, one quarter. So therefore, this one is for quarter 4, October, November, December. That's what we will check. So if your business is new and it has been around for October, November, December, and you are required to file Form 941, you will check Q4. If your business has been around for the entire year, again, it's Q4 that you are filing for around this time of the year. So that is Q4 we are going to check for this form. One form, one quarter. Part 1. How many people did you pay during the quarter? Since you didn't pay anyone, you need to put 0. There is instructions that, I don't know if I have it here. No, I don't. So we'll go back to the instruction. So there is instruction that there are some lines you should not leave blank. So those lines we put 0, 0 on it. So I'm going to see if we'll be able to find that information. Somewhere, and that will be on page 6 of 2025 Form 941 instructions. You do not round numbers to the whole dollar amount. You put the cents even if it's 0. You leave lines blank except line 1, 2, and 12. If they are blank, you will put 0, 0 on it. So we are going to keep that in mind and come back here. So our line 1 is 0. If you have an L.L.C tax as an S-corp and you are the only one in it of you or your spouse, and you didn't collect anything, it's as good as you didn't have employee. So therefore, it's going to be 0, because you are not going to put 1 and put 0 here because you didn't pay yourself. So it's just going to be as good as 0 in my opinion. So therefore, it's 0. Wages you pay those people is 0. So because they say now to leave a blank, you put 0, 0, 0 here. Line 3, did you withhold any income from $0 wages? The answer is no. So therefore, you leave line 3 blank. Is there any wages subject to Social Security tax or Medicaid tax is no. Therefore, you check that line, you leave column 1 and column 2 for those Social Security and Medicare taxes area blank, and you go to line 6. Again, is related to Q4. Information here is related to Q4, not the entire year cumulative, but only Q4 data. So we assume you didn't pay anyone in Q4. So line 6 is total tax before adjustment from line 3 and line 5E and line 5F. Because they are 0, the sum is going to be 0. So you leave line 6 blank. Line 7 is adjustment due to fraction. Since you didn't pay anyone, you don't have any taxes here, it's going to be 0. So you leave a blank. Line 8, we are leaving a blank because there is no adjustment here. Line 9, we are leaving a blank as well. Line 10, total tax after adjustment, which is the sum from line 6, 7, 8, 9 is 0. Therefore, we leave a blank. Line 11 is a non-refundable credit related to research activities, and you use Form 8974 for that. In this instance, we are going to leave a blank because it's $0. So line 12, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit is going to take line 11. No, it's going to take line 10 minus line 11. 0 minus 0 is 0. In this case, they say now to leave that line 12 blank. So therefore, we are going to put 0, 0, 0. So that is your total payroll tax for Q4 is 0, line 12. Line 13, did you make any deposit to IRS for payroll taxes during this quarter? Or from Q3, did you have any refund that you told them not to give you? Or Q2 or Q1 that you told them not to give you, but you are going to apply to the following return. If any, you can put it there. But again, yeah, you will put it there. So if you have some refund that you didn't receive, you ask them to keep for next tax return, you'll put on line 13. Again, here is $0, therefore we leave a blank. Balance due, line 14. You'll take line 12 minus line 13. In this instance, it's $0, so we leave a blank. Again, and line 14 is when line 12 is less than line 13. No, line 14 is when line 12 is more than line 13. You'll owe money. Line 15 is when line 12 is less than line 13. IRS owe you a refund. Line 15, and then you'll check if you want them to keep it for you to apply to the next return, or if you want them to send it to you. So, and again, in this instance where is $0, we just leave it blank because our liability is 0. Page 2 of Form 941, you'll have your business legal name, your business identification number, and then you'll come to part 2, line 16. If your line 12 is less than 2,500, you check the first box, and then you go to part 3, which we did. So part 3, if your business closed, read the instructions about it. They say to check that box and put your date, the date it closed, and attachments related to some information they detail in the instruction related to where the payroll data, payroll record for the business are going to be kept and who is going to keep it. So that person's name, address, phone number, and things like that. And otherwise, you leave it blank like the way we did in this instance. If you are a seasonal employer, you can check that box. That just means you are letting them know that you don't hire people throughout the year, but you hire them some part of the year. Therefore, there will be some quarters that you are not going to have staff and you are not going to file a return. But each time you are filing this return, you check the quarter you are filing for, even if you are checking this box. If you think you qualify to be called a seasonal employer, you might want to read the instruction on that as well before you check that box. Otherwise, you just leave a blank. Even if you are filing a $0 tax return, you can just leave a blank. So if you are the only person in your LLC or in your LLC tax as an S corp, which makes you an employee of or officer of the business, and you didn't collect any payment, you don't need to check this because you have $0 return to file. You can just leave it blank. But again, they have instructions on it as well for you to read, and every line has information related to it that you can just go to and read more about it to see if you qualify for, if that line is related to your business. Part 4, do you want IRS to contact somebody if they have a question related to this return? If yes, you check yes and put that person's name, phone number, and PIN that they will use. Otherwise, you just check no. That way they can just contact you personally. After all, you are going to have your name, your title, and your phone number on the form. And once you print this form out, you sign it, you review it, you sign it, you date it, you made a copy for your business. If you are a client, if you are a tax preparer filing for a client, you are getting paid for it, then you will complete this session with your name, your firm's, your tax preparation business name, address, seed, and state. You put your PTIN. If you are self-employed, you check that box, otherwise you leave it alone. And you put your EIN, your phone number, and zip code for the address. When you print this document out, you make 2 additional copies after your client sign date and you sign and date. That way you give a copy to the client to keep for business record, a copy for yourself to keep for your form, unless you want to go digital and just keep the form on the copy online, but it's not signed online, so you might want to keep or scan the signed version to keep digitally, and then the original one you made it to IRS. And that is how you will complete Form 941 if no wages were paid in Q4 2025. You leave the voucher section blank because again you don't owe any tax. So once you complete this form, where will you mail it to? So let's go to instructions, page 5. Again, page 5 is information on if the business closed, or has some merger going on, what will be on the attachment, and so forth. But let's continue down to see where this should be mailed to. Is on page 7. You are going to locate your states in column 1, and then you will use column 2 without a payment address that correspond to the row where your state is located. That is the address you will put on the envelope. In this example, where our business is located in Iowa, therefore we are using Iowa in this example. We will use column 2 without a payment address corresponding to row 2 where Iowa is located, and that is what will be on the address. That will be on the envelope. And you mail that envelope. You will put your page 1 and 2 in the staple and put in the envelope, and you mail it via USPS certified mail so that you can have that green tag, that green receipt with the tracking number. You staple that receipt with your receipts paying USPS and staple it to the business record copy and file it for your business. That way you have a proof that you mail this form, and when you file it, that you have together with the form and you put it away, just in case they come and say you didn't file it on time, they didn't receive it on time, or they didn't receive it at all, you have a proof that you mail it. So it's more pricier to mail a certified with that green tag to have a tracking number, but it's worth having that proof that you mail it, and you mail it to that address, because it's going to have that proof for you, and will have a tracking number as well, even though it's going to be sent to a PO box or a location. I'm not entirely sure, probably a building. You have that proof. So, but again, keep in mind that you can file this online as well, and they should be able to have instructions on their website for online filing as well. If you want to file it online, you can just follow the instructions. They will give you information on providers that they recommend that you can file with, for you to choose who you want to go with and file. That's one way to just file it online. And I think if you are using QuickBooks for your accounting software, maybe you might want it to go that out. I'm just showing you how you complete the form. If you want to mail it, you will print it out and mail it, and that is how you will complete this form and mail it to IRS as well. And I believe we came across it when it's due. So Q4 return is due by January 31st, and is for the quarter ending December 31st, October, November, December. So thank you so much for watching our videos. We thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for all your comments. And thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. And this video is brought to you by our our blog, ninasoap.com, where you can find free download in the pretty much on the home page section. If there is a tool, a document, a spreadsheet there that you are interested in, will you please check it there. Thank you so much for your time. And for any additional tax related videos, will you please check the playlist in the description of this video. Thank you.